Game of Thrones has been a popular fantasy TV show since it first aired on HBO. In 2022, we return to this world with a prequel, House of the Dragon. This new show is set 200 years before Game of Thrones and focuses on the intense succession battle during King Viserys' reign. One of the main characters is Princess Rhaenyra, played by Millie Alcock as a teenager and Emma Darcy as an adult. Darcy quickly became a fan favorite. Here are some facts about Emma Darcy. Emma Darcy identifies as non-binary. Emma Darcy identifies as non-binary and uses they them pronouns. They are part of a growing number of celebrities who are openly sharing their gender identity. Darcy explained that House of the Dragon is the first job where they brought their non-binary identity to work, thanks to HBO asking about their pronouns. They also related to their character Rhaenyra's struggles with gender politics. They noted that Rhaenyra is afraid of being confined to motherhood and recognizes how her life would differ if she were male. As a non-binary person, Darcy has always felt conflicted by masculine and feminine identities, a theme that resonates in their portrayal of Rhaenyra. They were influenced by the Spiritualist church as a child. Emma Darcy was born on June 27, 1992, in London. Their parents are Sally Elizabeth and Richard John Darcy, and their sibling is non-binary dancer Chloe Lowe Darcy. Darcy hasn't shared much about their childhood, but it was unconventional. In an interview with Hey You Guys, Darcy mentioned that their family had strong ties to the Spiritualist church. It's great. It's like going sort of similar to going to a Church of England service, except that's sort of in the middle when you might have someone talking for ages. There's a medium who communes with people who've passed for 40 minutes. And arguably of the two, I'd say that's more interesting and entertaining. Although Darcy is not an active member of the Spiritualist church, their upbringing taught them to be open to different forms of spiritualism. They stay open to the possibility of a visit from their dear grandma, who was deeply involved in the Spiritualist church before she passed away. They launched their own theater company. Emma Darcy attended the University of Oxford's Ruskin School of Art, studying fine art. While not formally trained in acting, Darcy developed a love for it and participated in several student productions. After graduating from Oxford, Darcy signed with Roxane Vaca Management and began appearing in plays. Additionally, Darcy launched their own theater company and became the joint artistic director of the Forward Arena Theater Company. They were out of work during the pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic was particularly challenging for Emma Darcy, who worked as an actor on stage and screen. In late 2020, Darcy told Hey You Guys, "The last few months have been quite surreal. I mean, there was a big section during lockdown where really the industry went very, very quiet. And that was a scary time because that felt really like free fall." They mentioned that the theater industry had a particularly tough year and couldn't see it getting easier soon. By the time Darcy landed the lead role in House of the Dragon, they were worried about finding their next job. The timing was strange, but they were delighted to have work again. They created a makeshift wig for their House of the Dragon audition. After a tough pandemic, everything changed for Emma Darcy when they received an audition request for an unnamed HBO fantasy series. Initially, Darcy didn't realize the significance of the project, thinking it was just another fantasy series spoof. This naivety helped them stay calm during the audition process. However, the self-tape process wasn't easy. After sending in one tape, the showrunners asked if Darcy had a wig to see how they would look with long hair. Darcy only had some hair extensions from a previous job. Darcy told Entertainment Weekly, "For 24 hours, me and my partner just tried. I can't put more emphasis behind that word. We kept trying until we found something that gave me the illusion I had long hair. And then, every time we taped after that, I would sit in front of the telly, and my partner would do my hair extensions for an hour and a half before we taped anything." In the end, all the effort paid off, and Darcy landed the role. They hadn't seen Game of Thrones before. By now, almost everyone has seen Game of Thrones. Surprisingly, when Emma Darcy was cast in House of the Dragon, they were one of the few who hadn't watched it. Although they had heard of Game of Thrones, they hadn't watched it until after being cast. Since then, they have watched every episode, read the books, and developed their own favorite characters. In a fun clip with co-star Olivia Cooke on HBO Max, Darcy shared that they particularly like the White Walkers, Peter Dinklage's Tyrion, and Rory McCann's Sandor Clegane, also known as the Hound. They got to experience a new scale of filmmaking on House of the Dragon. Emma Darcy had appeared in several TV shows and films before House of the Dragon, but the HBO show was on a much larger scale. Darcy explained to E! that the production was far bigger than anything they had worked on before. They noted that the set was incredibly detailed, unlike typical film sets. Usually, you have a corridor that leads nowhere or there's no back wall in a bathroom. But the King's Landing site is literally a 3-story castle built on a soundstage in Watford. It becomes another reality. The dragon riding scenes were created using advanced technology, with Darcy performing in front of a wraparound LED display that felt like a video game universe. Additionally, the production team often filmed 2 or 3 scenes simultaneously in different locations, showcasing the large scale and complexity of the project. They found a lifelong friend in their House of the Dragon co-star Olivia Cooke. Some actors form purely professional relationships during a project, but others develop lasting friendships. This seems to be the case with House of the Dragon stars Emma Darcy and Olivia Cooke. Although their characters are rivals on screen, they are close friends in real life. Darcy told Entertainment Weekly, "I fell in love with her in about 45 seconds. Well, I probably worked quite hard to cover that up. You know those chance meetings that happen where there's a familiarity? For some unknown reason, I really felt that with Liv." Cooke reciprocated this feeling. In an HBO Max interview, when asked about her first impression of Darcy, Cooke described it with one word: home. This indicates a deep sense of comfort and safety between them. Both actors were relieved to take on the challenging project together, feeling supported by each other's presence.